Okay, let's start with the next expression. Next functions that are available in the expressions. We discussed up to textual functions, right? That is string functions. Now, let me add one more column to practice to explain all the remaining functions, right? So I'm taking a new text box here. Let me start with the different expressions. Oops. So let's start discussing about the remaining functions here. Yesterday in last session we discussed about all the textual functions, right? And for the date time we have taken execution time. So I'll do one thing. I'll modify the query in such a way that I'll pull some date column into the data set. That means this is my current query which is pulling the data set, which is pulling the data for all the fields. Oops, this is not the one. Let me delete this guy here. I'm getting confused. Let me delete this data set. I'm not using it anywhere. I don't want this connection to. So this is the data set which I'm using. So let me take it and let me modify it in such a way that one date column will come into the report data set. So I connected to the database. I copied the query from there. And let me go take the new query. AdventureBox GW. And let me keep this where condition apart from some. So this is the columns that will be fetched as part of the query execution that is in the data set. Now I want to get one date field, one date column. So which one to take? I'll join this. I have that date column in dim time table. So I'm going for inner join dim time on dim time dot time key is equal to fact internet sales dot let me take order date key. Okay, now what column I'm gonna pull as part of this? I'm gonna pull dim time dot full date alternate key. So if you see, this is getting me date column, right? I will alias it as order date. Now my data set is ready with one more extra column. I have used the join here to get the new column that is full date alternate key, and I have taken it as order date. Now let me remove this commented and copy the same, and I'll paste it here so that I'll get one more extra column into my data set. As you can see, the order date is coming into the data set. Now I will use this date column to explain all the date functions, right? If I directly use this date column, what will happen? Let me show you that. And let me remove this. I don't want this. I just explained an example in last session using that. Now if you see my report, it is getting date columns. See order date. And for this I set some left align, right align, right? So that is why it is showing all this stuff. So let me remove unwanted columns. Why? Because we discussed about the textual function, so I don't want to have it anymore. And let me set the alignment property back to normal, where we have set the alignment. Yeah, text align. So I'll set it to left align by default. I'm just making a simple report with the normal settings. I've removed all the dummy settings that it was having. Okay. Now let me execute and see the report. You can see it is coming. It is getting the date, order date of this particular product or category, whatever it is. Now I'm going to use this column to explain the functions, the datetime functions. The first thing is, the first function we have to look at is cdate. So that cdate, if the data is if the data is coming from the database, if the column that is coming from the database is in textual, is in varchar data type or is in string data type, then to convert the date fields we use cdate. Okay, let's say you may be having the date data, but it will be in string format. I'll show you the difference. 01/01/2001. This is a string data. The date in string format. 01/01/2001. This is date. So the difference between these two is you cannot apply any date functions on this. But in this, you can apply any date function. So if you observe, this is string format. But I don't say the data that is present, the 01/01/2001 is, I don't say it is not a date. But it is a date in string format. But this is a date in date format. The advantage of having date format is you can apply so many datetime functions. All the datetime functions that you can see here, you can apply all those things only when it is datetime. When the format is datetime. If it is string format, it won't work. Most of these things will not work. How can you convert the string format into date format so that you can apply all the functions? How can you do that? I'll show you. So if you use cdate, that means convert to date. Even though it is coming in string format, convert to date and show it in the text in the result set. There will be no much difference between the previous result and current result. Why? Because I am just changing the format. I am just changing the data type. It's from string format to I'm converting it into datetime format. Once I have converted it into datetime format, then I can apply all the functions. Okay. Now it is date format column. And now if I use any function that is available here, it will work fine. The date functions, I can use date add, date diff, date part, and so on. All those functions that I can use. Let me show you an example. I want to get the month of each row. What month it belongs to. I'm getting date, right? Instead of date, show just only month. This month function will return only the month. Okay. Now if I execute this, you can see it is returning only month, which month it belongs to. The date was 1/7/2001 or something, right? Now if you see the, if I use the function month, what it is returning is, it is just returning the month of the particular date field. Now instead of cdate, if I use cstr, that means I'm converting to string instead of date. What will happen? Will it return or not? It is returning, right? So if the format is in date, then it's good, it is working. Might be in this release. Now let me take an example where the string format and date format differs. So let's say I have 10 dates. I've taken an Excel and I'm taking 01 Jan 2012 and I'm dragging for, let's say, so many days. Okay. And if you see, if you order all these things, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4 Jan. If the data type is date. If the data type is string, what will happen is, 1 second guys. I think I'm not explaining in a better way here. That's why I'm taking time. So let me change the format. I'm trying to get the full date format. Format cells in the date. I'm trying to get this format. Okay. Now if I copy the same. Okay. Now if you see, this is a datetime format, it will be order. If you try to sort it, how it will sort is, it will take 1 January 1st 2012 first, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But if it is not if it is not a date format and if it is string format, then the ordering will be little different. This guy will come second. All these guys will come here. What could be the reason? The reason is next to 1 in string format it will be 10, 11, 12, 13 and so on. Once it is ended, then 2 will come into picture. And after 2 it will be 20, 21, 22, 23 and so on 30. Why? Because it is string format. String format means it will go alphabetical order. So this guy will come here. Why? Because after 2 it will be 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 and so on. And after 3 it will not be 4, it will be 30, 31, 32 and so on, whatever it is. So the ordering, if you try to order the dates, you will not get in proper order. You will be getting in different order, like what you are seeing here if it is string format. So always whenever you get the date, the first thing people will do is they'll convert it into the date format. The format not in date, then they'll convert it into the date format. Now if I take this, if I go back, now first I converted into date format. Let's see one by one function. The first function is date add function. So using date add function, you can add days. I think we discussed about this function in last session. So you can add days, or you can subtract days, or you can add months, you can subtract months and so on. Let me show you an example for date add. Date add, you have to tell what it will return. Okay. I'm giving days, comma, 20, comma. What will happen? What will be the output if I execute this? I'm giving the function date add d, comma, 20, comma, c date of order date. So what it will do is, as Kranti said, it will add 20 days to the order date. Let me show you. Let me check the same. And to compare, I need to have order date also, right? So I'm taking order date here into this. And let's see whether it adds 20 days to the order date column. If you see here, this order date, it is 1/7/2001 and it added 20 days to this. In the same way, this is 2 and it added 20 days to this. It has become 22. This is 3, it added 20 days. So date add function will help you in adding the days, or adding months, or adding quarters, whatever you want. You can give different options here. So how can you do that? I don't know how many of you tried this. If you go for date interval dot, it will give you all the date interval items like year, quarter, month, seconds, milliseconds, and so on. I've shown you a couple of things yesterday, right? Let me add again days. Okay, I'm adding dates. Instead of 20, I'm giving -20. What will happen? So it will be it will subtract 20 days from the date order date and it will go back. So if you see this is 1 and it has gone back by 20 days, so that is why it is showing 11/6/2001. So even for 2 it will be 12/6/2001, and for 3/7/2001 it has become 13/6/2001. So date add function will take you either forward or backward, however you want. It depends on the integer value that you are specifying for the second parameter. If you specify only positive integers, then it will take the date forward. If you specify the negative integers, then it will take the date backward. And the first parameter will say whether you have to go back in the years or months or quarters and so on. So this is how you can use the date add function for different scenarios. And if you see the next function, this is date diff function. Date diff means it will give you the difference between two dates. Okay. If you want to get the difference between two dates, and it's again, you can get the difference in the form of year or quarter or month, how many different. So to find out the difference between two dates, what is the first requirement? To find out the difference, what you will look for? What will be the first requirement that you will think of when anyone asks you to find out the difference? You need to have two inputs. If you ask what is the difference between those two guys, means you will ask who are those two guys. So those two, you need minimum two inputs to find the difference, right? So I'm using the date diff function. I'm giving days. I want the difference in dates. The start date, you have to specify some start date and you have to specify the end date, or not start date and end date. One date and the another date. There is nothing called start date and end date. Okay. So here I'm giving today. Today means it will return you current date, whatever the current date, server date is, that is 8/6/2013. So I'm asking the server to give the difference between today to the order date, whatever the order of this particular product, whenever the particular product was ordered. So I want to difference between these two in the form of days. How many days difference is there when it has been ordered, or how many days back it has been, the order has been given. If you see, it has given 4,419 days back. If you calculate from today to 2001 July 1st, it will be 4,419 days. If you want it by let's say years, okay, what you have to do is you just have to give year, y, or if you give quarter, let's see what will happen. If you give you quarters, or it is giving you quarters, that means 48 quarters has been passed from the day this order is given. This order was on 1st July 2001, and till date, if you compare, it has been 47 quarters. In the same way, you can go for seconds, milliseconds, and so on. So if you go for year, what will be the output? It will be how many years? 12 years, right? So it will be -12. So the date diff function will expect two inputs mainly. That is, what is the first date and the second date, among which you want to find the difference. And the third parameter, the parameter what it will expect is what difference you want to find, whether you want to find year-wise, quarter-wise, month-wise, and so on, or semester-wise. Okay, as you can see here, the example is given. There is two dates, and it is trying to find the difference between two dates. And the third one is date part. This is very interesting one, very useful one, I can say. Date part will give you, it has two overload functions. You can just give interval and value. Okay. Let me give interval as, I'll give day, comma, today. What it will return? Can anyone go for the guess? What is meant by date part? It will give you part of the date. Instead of giving full date, it will give you part of the date. And the part I'm asking is D. D means it will give 6, as Kanti said. What if I'm asking it to return the date part of the date, not complete date. Today is complete date. Today means it will return complete date, and I'm asking it to return only part of it. Let me give a year. What it will return? Will it return a year or some other thing? So from the date, it will return, from the today's date, it will return the year. What I have to give if I want to get the quarter, which quarter the current day is belongs to, or which quarter whatever this date is belonging to. I can give simply Q, which means, let me give seconds. Yes, I don't know whether it is having or not. Let me give and see what it will be. I think there is no such thing called second there. Let me give second and check. Actually, if you go for date interval dot, it will list all the values that are available. I've given second, now it is also not available, so it is giving you an error. So if any one of you guys can try it out just by taking the date part and bracket open, and if you give date interval dot, it will list all the options that are available that you can use here. Okay. If you give quarter, obviously it will give what quarter it belongs to. This month current date belongs to the third quarter, right? So it returns 3. Why? Because I'm asking the server to return the date part, quarter part of the date. Okay, that is the function date part, which you can use while getting, if you want to get the month number, then you can use this. Simply give month, it will give you the month number. And if I don't give any function here, what it will return? It will return the current date, whatever the today's date, that will be returned. Now let me take the next function. Date serial, never tried this. Let me see what it is. Returns a date value representing a specified year, month and date with the time information set to midnight. Date serial minus 10, date part plus 10. Okay. So what it will do is, if you want to convert an integer values to a date, then you can use this date serial function. But I never use this. Let me explain you. Date serial of, if you give 2001, comma, and the month let's say 12, comma, and the day let's say 12, what will happen? What it will return? Any guess? Date serial function, what it will return? It will form a date with that and it will return that 12/12/2001. So what I have given, the first parameter is year, that is 2001. The second parameter is month, that is 12 I have given, and the third parameter is day. So if you want to form a date, okay, you don't need to worry like concatenating using slash and so on. You just use date serial function, where if you can give, let me give 32, what will happen? Will it return an error or it will return the date? There is no day in any month, right, with the number 32. What it will return? It will return an error or it will return the value. What's your guess, guys? So it will return in the error? No. It has taken to the next date. 31. What is after 31? That 31 is the last day of the month. So it has gone to the next date, that is 1/1/2002. Okay. And this is really a useful function. To be frank, I miss this function these days. I was manually concatenating the string. I was manually preparing the date format. When I have year, quarter, year, month and date in my hand, I was preparing it manually. You know how I was preparing? 2001, let's say something like this, slash plus something. The value is concatenating, so that I'll form a date. But using this date serial, it is pretty easy, man. You don't need to worry. Everything it will take care. You have to pass year 2012, 12, 3. It will form a date for you. This is really a useful function. I've never used this, but I'll use it from now onwards. I've never seen this. That's the mistake. That's the problem. Okay. And the next function, if you see, date string returns or sets a string value representing the current date according to the system. So date string, it will give you the date, current date, whatever it is, just like today. What today returns? Today returns the current date. In the same way, it returns the date in the date string format. So that means the value will be string. Generally, if you take today, it will be date format, and if you use date string, it will be string format. 08/06/2013. That is today's date. You can see here, right? So the date string is used for getting the date in string format. And next functions, I'm gonna explain you. You have to answer what it is gonna return. Why? Because the remaining functions are pretty straightforward one. What it will return, if this is date value, if you give it, it will return the value in the date format. Okay. See, you are giving a string, but what it will return is, it will return the date format. So what will be the output of this if I execute the same value, same expression, whatever it is here? What will be the output? How it will return in your output? It is date format, so it will be 01/15/2007. See, 1/15/2007 and mid date. It is just like whatever the function we have seen just now, date serial function, right? So just like in the same way, it will convert the string format dates into date format, date value, date format. Now, let's go back to the today, which means the current date's server date and time will be given. What will do if I give day? That means if I give day of today, what it will return? So I got different answers. Wednesday, 6, Tuesday. What it will return? It returns a day. What what is the date? Current date. The current date is here. You can see returns an integer value from 1 through 31, representing the day of the month. Right? The day of the month is 6. What is today's day? So it is 6. That is why it returns the 6. The output will be 6 for this. And format datetime is very similar to the one what we have seen in the textual functions. Format, we have seen format, right? That time I explained you format datetime also. You can use dot, short date and long date to get the long date format or short date format. Let's say you are having the full date here like month, year, year, month and date space the time also, and if you use short date it will return only the date. It will remove the time part. So that is short date format. In the same way you can go for long date format. And if you take hour, it is similar to the day. What it will return? It will return what is the current hour that is running. Let's say what is the time now? It is very close. It is 8:30. So it will be 12 plus 8, that is 20, and 9 means 21. The output will be 21. You can see here returns an integer from 0 through 23. The day of the hour of the day. And minute, what minute will give? What minute it is in this particular hour? It is 28 minute. Right? In the particular hour, what is the minute? How many minutes passed? It is 28 minutes. So now it is 29. Right? So that is why it returns 29. And month means we have already seen. It returns the month of the current date or today's date. It is not only today's date. You can go for anything. You can go for order date. You can go for, if you have any different date field, you can use that date field. And this one, the next function is very important. So this month of will return the month, right? As I told you, the month will return month of particular date. Let me take order date. It will return the month number like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the month it belongs to. All the months here it belongs to 7, and if you go continuously you will be getting somewhere 8th month, 9th month and 10th month. Let me see where it is coming. There are so many records for 7. Now we can see 8th month and 9th month are coming right on the 9th page. Now the next function we are going to discuss is month name. So the month name function will take an integer value. Let's say if you pass 5, what will be the output for the month name? If I pass 5, what it will return? It will return May. If I pass 1, it will return January. If I pass 2, it will return February. So the output, this guy will return either 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. Before this, if I set month name, so instead of returning, the inner function will return integers. That integer will be used by the outer function and it will return the month names. And you can see this is July, and if I go to the 9th page, it is August, September, and if you go continue, you can see October, November and December and so on it will be coming, right? So the month and month name, you have to find out that you have to remember the difference. Month will return the integer from the date value. From any date if you pass, for the month function, it will return the month number of the date. And if you use month name above this one, then it will return textual month name, whether it is a January, February and so on. Here I'll use left. The output of this one I'm using left. That means what will happen? It will return only 3 characters of the month. July, JUL. Next one will be August, September and AUG, SCP, OCT and so on. Yesterday I explained you, right, where we will use the left function. This is the case where we will use the left function. You can see it is SEP, it is OG, it is November NOV, and December will be DEC, and Jan will be JN and so on. So this is actually this is not the right place to use this left function, but while generating the reports, charts, users don't like to show the complete month name. there they want to have only Jan, Feb, March and so on. In that case, you will be using this combination, month of the date and month name of this one, and finally we will use left function. The same is used by Samyukta in one of our recent projects. So the next function is minute, hour, month name, and now means it is equal to the date time. It will give you the current date. It returns a date value containing the current date and time according to the system. It is just like today. There is no much difference between today and the date time. Okay, and this is you can use either now or today. Both will return the same. And if you see the second, this will give you the current second, whatever the second that is running currently. This you can see the difference very straight away. This will be very interesting. Second of I'm giving today. What will be the output? If I execute it, what will be the output? Whatever the current second the report generates, that will be the output. It is 0th second. Okay, sorry, today is not capturing the seconds, man. Let me take now. That now will take the seconds, I guess. Today is not capturing the seconds. It is taking only up to minutes, I guess. Let me take now. You can see this is 48 seconds. And if I refresh, by the time it refreshes, is 5 to 6 seconds will be passed. And it is 55. Again, if I refresh, it will go on while generating the report, it will get the fresh, and it is 0th second. And again, if I refresh, it will take 5 more seconds and get the 5 seconds, right? Can you see every time it is refreshing? It is getting the fresh data and it is getting whatever. So that means if you observe, the report is taking 5 seconds to generate. Now I have given some gap. Now if I refresh, it will be 22 or 23, something around that. 22. Now it will be 27. Why? Because it is taking 5 seconds to refresh the page, refresh the report. So that is the second function. Just like hours, I can't show you the hours and minutes. Why? Because it will be changing very slowly. But second I can show you, right? That's why I have shown you the example. Similar way, the minutes, the day, the hour, the minute, the month, and the second works. Okay. Time of the day will return the date value containing the current time of the day according to the system. So actually the time of the day, it returns the complete date and time, I guess. Let me check what it returns. And if you observe, yeah, it is returning only time. It is not returning year. If you see, this is defaulted year. Can you see this is 1/1/2001? This is defaulted. It returns only time 8:35 10 seconds. If I refresh it, 8:35, it will be some 30 seconds or something around that. 8:35 28 seconds PM. If I refresh it, it will give you something else. 35 seconds. So if you observe, it is giving you time of the day, and this date you can ignore it. This is just junk date. You can truncate the date. Okay. How you can show only time there? It's not always 5 seconds. This report is taking 5 seconds, Vamshi. This report is taking 5 seconds to refresh. If the report is taking 500 seconds, then it will be increased by 500. How I can get only date here, only time here? I don't want the date. I want to show only time. How can I do that? So I can use split function. I think there is a space between date and time, right? Split this based on space. Okay, this will be splitted and take the first value. Okay, let's see what it will do. Split means what I'm doing here is I'm splitting the function and I'm getting the first value, that is PM. It is getting, I mean, there is space between time and PM, that is why it is getting PM. In the same way, if I take 0, it will try to take this as an assignment here. From this particular function, time of day, I want to show only time. How can you do that? Use split function. I don't care how many split functions you will use, but I want only time, that is 8:35 35 seconds PM. I want that information. Okay, understood? What's the assignment I've given? So here if I take time of day, what it is returning is, it is returning 1 1 2 0 0 0 1 8 so on so slash space PM, right? I want only 8:37:16 PM to be written here. I don't want the complete the first part, that is 1 1 0 0 0 1. I don't want that. How you can do that? I just want to show the time. Just try it out. Now let's go to the next function, date time. This is timer. I think it will start the timer from midnight to now. What is the time elapsed? If I set the timer here, it is just like counter. If you what the timer will do in your iPhone. I think every iPhone, people who are, most of you guys are maintaining the iPhone, right? There will be a timer. You can set the timer and it will be triggering. Every second you can set some time and it will be triggering, right? So from that time to now, it has this many number of seconds. And if I refresh it now, you can get a few more seconds added to that. It's the 74296 now. It will be 300 something next time. You can see 305. And it is like a timer. It is a counter from the midnight, from the 12 a.m. in the morning to this time, how many seconds has been elapsed. So it has this many seconds elapsed. 74312, like that. It's a timer which will be used to count. And actually this is of no use function. Where you will use. I've never used this, and very rare cases people will be using, and at least I have not used this, and I didn't get any requirement where I need to use this timer function. Time serial, again it is, if you give hour, if you give minutes, and if you give seconds, what it will do? It will create the time for you, just like date series. Date serial, you remember that, right? I've shown you date serial somewhere here we discussed. Date serial, in the same way time serial. If you specify hours, minutes and seconds, it will be converted. It will be converted into the date format. And this time string will return you the time string, the current time string, just like similar to the date string. What date string was giving? The date string was giving the current date and time, right? In the string format. In the same way, the time string will give you the time string in the string format. In the same way, time value will return the value time in the value format. So let me show you at least one example. I have not shown the remaining one, right? The other one. Oops, I have to give today, or I have to give now. So from this it will get the time value. And you can see it's again, it is going back, even though now I've taken now should have all the time, right? It has removed all the date, and the default value it is showing here. It is only 8:40:14, right? If I don't give that time value, what it will be showing? It will be showing current date and time. Now it is showing only time, and the date is setting to 110001. And what will happen if you give time string? Any guess? It will show the same way, or it will show the complete time, complete date. What will be the output if I use time string? Complete date or only time? This will be the output if you are going for string. So that is the difference. If you observe, whenever we are talking about string, it won't care about the date. It will ignore the date. Whenever you are taking the date format, a minimum is some date should be there. That is defaulted one to 110001. Right? The format differences, I told you, right? There is a little difference between string format dates and date format dates. This is the difference. If you consider string, it won't need to place that 0101 0001. Why? Because this is a string. You can have whatever you want. If you ask for only time, I'll give only time. But that is not the case. That is a date format, and hence it will be, it should contain some dummy date or some junk date. So that dummy date, whatever it picked is 0101 0001. And the next one is today. Today will return today's date and time. And weekday will return what is the weekday. Let's say this is an useful one. I'll show you. This will be used in calculations most of the places. Weekday of today. What will be the output? Can any guess? Weekday of today. Hmm? Weekday of today starts from the Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. What is the start? Sunday is 1, Tuesday is 2, sorry, Monday is 2, Tuesday is 3, Wednesday is 4, Thursday is 5, Friday is 6 and Saturday is 7. Again Sunday will be 1, Monday is 2. So it will give you what date it is. Where you will use this? On every Monday if you want to trigger the report, then you can check it. Where weekday is equal to 2, then trigger it, right? You can check some conditions like that, right? You can use this weekday on if you want to trigger it only on Monday. If weekday of the date, current date or today is equal to 2, that means it is Monday. Weekday of so and so is 3, then show it as Tuesday or consider it as Tuesday and apply the functionality. So these functions is nothing but see each and every function. What I can explain is what a function will do here. Okay, but your job is to take a scenario and practice on the same. Like I've given a couple of scenarios today. A couple of students called me and they asked for scenarios. I've given scenarios and it's just a plain simple scenarios I got in mind at that time and I've given it, and they learned a lot from that. I hope so. I'm hoping so. They have to comment if they have not learned anything. And the next one is weekday name. What it will return? Will it return a weekday name of? It is just like month and month name. I hope you still remember the month and month name. What it was returning? The month was returning the number and weekday name was returning. Oops. What happened? This is fine. This is for this and this is for weekday. Fine. This should be perfect. Day of the week as first day of the week. That's 0. Let me see. The value expression of the order date contains some extra something I have to correct. So the month was giving month number and month name was giving name of it. Now here weekday, here it is. This is the problem. Okay, weekday, this today function will give you current date, right? And this weekday of today will give you what is the number, that is 2 or 3. And this will give you what is 3, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, it will give you the same. Again, what you will use? It is Tuesday now. And again, what you will use? You will use left of 3 so that it will give you either month, due, when, test, the first 3 characters of it. So this is how you can analyze the requirement, and you have to find out what are all the functions you can use to achieve the output. If you ask me, okay, I want to show, I have dates, I want to show only month name with 3 characters. First I will think is, okay, I need month number. So I will use month of the date. And then I need, then I have to get the name from the month number. So I will use month name. And then I have to get only left 3 characters or 4 characters. So I will use left function. So this is how you have to take the requirements and analyze it and find out what functions that are available in SSRS will suit to your requirement. Based on that, you have to design and work on it. And the last one, year, what it will return is nothing but what is the year. Okay, 2001 or 2 or 3 or 4 or what. If I give up to year of today, it will return 2013. So these are the different date functions, date and time functions, and it is very useful functions. Date and time functions, you need to use it in many condition checks or many places where you have to get the month number and so on. Okay, now let's start with the math functions. See, there will be so many math functions. Again, I told you there will be cos, tan, theta, and all the shit. I don't care about. I don't. I've never tried those functions. So if you want, you can try it. I'm gonna explain the most frequently used functions from this math. And daytime, almost all the functions will be used. That's why I explained everything. And here the absolute is nothing but it will give you the positive value. Okay, if you want to find out the difference between two dates, it will give in minus or plus, right? It will come in either way. Sometimes it will be minus and sometimes it will be plus if you give two dates. But if you want to give just absolute, let's say, let me show you absolute of minus 27, the output will be 27. Absolute means it will give you only positive value, the integer value, the positive integer. It will, even though it is minus 27, it will make it as 27 and it will return the 27. And if it is minus 57, it will be written 57. If it is 107 positive value, it will return only 107. No change will happen to the positive values. If it is negative, in simple, it will be into minus 1. Sorry, if it is negative, it will remove the negative, it will give you the positive. The absolute means returns a value integer indicating 8-bit signed integer. Okay, this is the absolute function. And if you see the next function, cos sign, I've never tried that and I don't know it. You can try it. A cos of dot 5 returns the cosine of a specified number. So cos theta it will return. Let me try what is cos theta of 0.5. I forgot this mathematics concepts. So cos theta of 0.5, what's the output? 45 degrees or 90 degrees? It is 1.0417 something, blah blah blah. So it will give you cos theta. And whenever it required, see, whenever you're working in some scientific related stuff, then you may need this. Apart from that, you don't need this cos theta and sin theta in regular projects. And the third one, if you see, it is tan theta, sin theta, cos theta, tan 2 theta, big multiplication. And let's see what is this big multiplication. This is a new one. So big multiplication returns the, see, when you are multiplying two big values. Let me take these two values. Okay. So I'm multiplying two values. How can I multiply? You can use the operator multiply, right? 214 something into something. Let's say the same value. What will be the output? The value expression of the so and so contain an expression not representable in type integer. That means the multiplication, the output of this multiplication is crossing the integer value that it can fit, it can show. That means it is getting a very big integer value, very big integer value which can't fit in an integer data type. So what in that case, if you want to multiply big values, then you can go for big multiplication. So it will multiply and it will return. Now I'm telling the server, man, these two are big multiplications. Do that and return the value, and you can see it is multiplied and it is returning the value. Right? It crossed the integer limit. Integer limit is minus 32, 697, something. That's the biggest value you can set in the integer, right? If you try to multiply the biggest two integers, it will overflow. Integer has some limit. After that, it will be big int. So if you have any such big multiplications, you can use big mul function. Understood? See, integer maximum value, there is a limit maximum. So if it crosses that, it will throw an error. So that is why in that cases you can use big mul for multiplying purpose of the big values. And ceiling, it will give you that ceiling value. And if you see 34.3352, what will be the ceiling? What is meant by ceiling fan in your house? Ceiling means the next biggest. This is a decimal value. And what is the next biggest integer? It will be written as part of the output. That is 35 is the next biggest integer. So that is why it will return the 35. What will return if I give, instead of ceiling, if I use floor? Floor means next smallest integer. So the next smallest integer is 34, right? And hence it returns 34. There is a floor. Here you can see the floor function. If it is 4.67, the floor is, it will be 4. The next smallest integer compared when you take this one, that is floor. Next biggest integer is ceiling. Integer in the sense no decimal points and the next highest. If you continue with this value, what is the next best integer value that you can find? That is obviously 35. That is for ceiling, and next smallest integer will give you the floor. And this is cos theta, cos something, cosine. This is the exponential. I told you, right? Exponential of 5. What will be the exponential of 5? How many of you remember e power 2, e power 3 and so on? You might have read this in your plus 2. Exponential, e power 2, e power 3, e power 4 and so on. If you give e of 5, exponential of 5, it will give you e power 5. If you give exponential of 2, it will give you e power 2. So this exponential function is used for calculating the exponential value. And the next function is fix. Returns the integer portion of the number. That means, what is the integer portion of the number? So if you see here, the minus 9.25, what is the integer portion of the number? The fix means it says that it will give you the integer portion of the number. You can use either ceiling or floor to achieve the same. Why this fix is in place then? Why the fix is available in the functions list when you can use ceiling or floor? So if you see here, 34.56, what is the ceiling? Is 35. The floor is 34. Right? Now, if I take minus 34.56, what is the ceiling? The ceiling will become 34. The floor will become 35. The reverse case. So you can't predict what is the exact one, what is the correct integer you want to take, right? So it's better if you go for fixed. That means it won't care of the sign. It will just get the, what is the integer part of it. It will return the integer part of it, and it's just like a format, right? It will remove the remaining stuff from the decimal one. It will remove the decimal values. So that is the use of fixed compared to the, when you have a floor and ceiling, instead of that people prefer fixed if they want to get the integer part irrespective of the sign. And integer, it returns the integer portion of the number. So what will be the integer portion of this number? Will it be minus 93 or 94 or minus 90? Yeah, minus 94 or minus 93. What will be the integer value of this? Minus 93.4. So it is returning minus 94. The next nearest integer it is returning. Okay. Now, if you observe, it is 0.4, right? That is less than 0.5. That means it is going back by 1 point. See, observe it very carefully, guys. 94.4. What will be the integer? It will be 94, right? 94. If it is 0.5 and less, it will be 94. 94.6, the integer will be 95. Okay. If I give minus 94.4, it will become minus 93, not 94. Okay. This is negative value. The next smallest one. And if you give minus 94.6, what it will become? The next best integer is minus 94, right? Try to understand the difference between negative values and positive values, guys. Try the int function for different values, minus 93.4, minus positive values, and you will come to know the difference of providing the negative and the positive values. And this is not required. This is log base 2. You know, right? Logarithm table. Log 25 base 2. You can write 5 power 2. I don't know how many of you guys remember. Let me show you a simple example. Log 25 base 2. This is the only thing I remember in mathematics here. This is equal to log 5 power 5 square base 2, and this is 2 log 5 to the power 5 to the base 2, and this will calculate one value. 2 into this will be the output. If you give 4 here, it will be 2 square, and it will be 2 log 2 to the base 2. That means log 2 to the base 2 is equal to 1. So that is 2 into 1. That will be 2. Right? So that is the logarithm function. That is the use of log 2 base 2. And you have one more in that, that is log 10, log base 10. Right? So log 10 base or log 2 base. If you don't have anything, that is base 2. And if it is 10 specified, that is log base 10. And max will give you the maximum value. Let's say you have any particular column. In that, if you want to get the maximum value, you can use it. Let's say for sales amount, I want to get the maximum value. I can have many values in the text box, in the column, but I'm asking you to give the maximum value. This is similar to the sum function. What sum function will do? Sum function will calculate, right? And this guy will give you the maximum value. Oops, it is showing order date. 1 second, guys. Yeah. White is not showing correct value. As expected, white is not showing the maximum value. What is the reason? Any guesses? So if you observe here, I'm giving the maximum value of the particular field. That means it will be every row level maximum value. Every row level maximum value will be the same. And if you give the data set, whatever the data set, the complete data set level, then it will be working fine. Let me take this in data set. So now what it should do is, it should go to the data set and get all the values from the field, the scope I'm specifying, and then get the maximum value if I have written the expression properly. You can see now it has get the maximum value from the complete data set. Earlier case, I have not given the scope as data set. That's why for every row, it will try to get the maximum value. Every row, it will be the same. The value that it has for the sales amount will be the maximum value, right? Now what I have done is I have given scope of the data set. I'll show you that the expression whatever I have written here. Earlier it was nothing. There was no scope given. That means for every row, what is the maximum value? For every row, the sales amount maximum value is the sales amount itself. Why? Because it has only one value. There is no other value to compare. Now if I give scope like this, then what it will do is it will go and get all the values that are present in this data set, and then it will find out the maximum value. Understood? In the same way, you can go for min value. Okay? And pow means power. If you give some power of 2 comma 2, that means 2 power 2 will be executed. If you give 5 comma 2, it will be 5 square. If you give 10 comma 5, that means 10 to the power of 5. That is 10 into 10 into 10 into 10 into 10. You can try it out. It's just power of the value. And round means it will give you the round. Sorry, it's not round, it's random. It will give you the random number between it will give the random integer number between -1 and 1, I think. So like it will be -1.2375543 and so on. It will give that kind of number. So if you want to see, I'll show you an example. RND, that means a random number. Get some random number whenever it executes. So this time it is 0 point something, it is 0.55. It will give you random numbers. If you see, it won't. Don't ask me why we need this random function. Some cases people will be using as unique identifier. But as I told you, it is not a fixed one. It is not meant for See, this SSRS tool is not meant for either you or me, right? It is for it is a generalized tool which is used for which is meant for everyone in the world who are using this. So this may be used by any one guy at least, right? Random. And round function, as the name says, it will round the value. If you give 12.456 comma 2, that means it will round it to 2 decimals. If you give 3, it will round it to 3 decimals. Okay, and yeah, this is how you can use the round function. If I execute this, it will be 12.450. If I give comma 3, then it will be sorry, if I give 1, then it will be 12.400. So the nearest rounding will be happen. The nearest rounding will be done. I'll show you an example here. So what will happen if I give 1? 12.453 is the value I've given. What will happen if I give 1? Guys, before the output comes. So 12.45, that is 5, that is greater than. So that will be make it 12.5. Okay. Now, what will happen if I give -1? This is tricky, right? Will it execute or it will throw error? What will happen if I give 12.5? Sorry, comma -1. What will be the output if it executes? Execute, I know that. What is the output if it executes? Yeah, you got it right. See, the rounding will be done only for decimal values. And it can be either 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. What will happen if I give it a 0? 12.453 round to 0, what will happen? It will be 12. So, no, 0 means there will be no decimals to our thing. 1 means there will be only 1 decimal. 2 means there will be only 2 decimals. 3 means 3 decimals and so on. Okay. Now this is about the round function which you are asking about from day one, when the round will come, right? Here it is, the round function. And sine function, I don't know what this function will do. Let me check what this sine function will do. I'll give sine of minus 20,000. Let's see what will happen. It is -1. Oh, it will show whether it is a negative value or positive value. If it returns -1, that is a negative value. I think if I give 20,000, it will be +1. That means it is a positive value. I guess. Yeah, here it is. You can see. So it will give you the sign whether it's a negative value or positive value. If it returns -1, that is a negative value. If it returns +1, it is a positive value. That is the use of sine function. Let me take the other one. This is square root, you know, right? This is sine, and you forgot about this, hyperbolic sine. And this is a square root. Square root of 25, what is the output? This is one, again I remember, man. Square root of 25, this is how it's written, right? That is equal to square root of 5 square, right? That is 2. How to written? Sorry, this one will be truncated. This square root and 2 will be taken out, and it will be, the output will be 5. So that is how you can use the square root function. And tan theta, you forget it, or you can just write out what will be the output of the tan 135 or tan some value. So you can use the tan and hyperbolic tan. Okay. So this is about math functions. And if you go to the inspection functions, it's just 4. It will check whether it is an array or not, and whether it is a date or not, or whether it is an value is present or not, or is numeric or not. If I give is numeric, I'll show you one example, and remaining thing you can assume, and whenever you need it, you can use it. So is numeric of, I have given root, what will be the output? Whether root is a numeric value or not. It is not, and hence it is returning false. Okay. If I give integer value, numeric value, then it will return true. Let's say I'll give 25 or 24. So now what it will return, whether it's an integer value or not. It's an integer value and hence it is returning true. So it's asking is numeric or not. I'm asking whether to the server whether it is a numeric or not. In the same way, I can check for is date or not, whether it's a date field or not. If I'm getting some value from the database field and I want to check whether it is a date or not. If is date of so and so is equal to false, I'll tell you one condition. If is date of some field dot value is equal to false, that means it is not date. So don't convert. Else use month of. Can anyone explain what this function will do? So it will take the field value and it will check whether it is in the date format or not, date type of text or not. If it is not, then returns blank, else it will return the month. So these kind of functions, right, you can use the inspection functions to check whether it's an integer or is an array or is nothing or something like that. Okay. And program flow, which we have already discussed a lot, that is if statement. If you know very well about this. And the choose option is like choose 2, 13, 15, 21. If I give this, what will be the output? Can anyone go for the guess? (13, 15, 21). Choose 2, what will be the output? Choose 2 is not like choose 2 from the 10 objects in any party here. Choose 2 means the item is selected as 2. Among the 3 items whatever I've given, the first one it is returning 15, right? Why? Because my option whatever I've set is second one. So that is 13 is the first one, 15 is the second one. So my output I want is this one. So this is just a static example. It won't give you a better understanding about this function. And if you go for the second example, this is a perfect one where we use the choose. If you want to know which day today is, whether it's the 7th day or 5th day or 3rd day and so on, okay? I don't want to know whether it's Monday or Tuesday. I want to know whether it's the 1st day or 2nd day or 3rd day. What I'm doing here is, I'm getting week of today. So what this function will return? This guy will return what is the weekday, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today it is 3, so it will be 3rd. Tomorrow it will be 4, so it will return 4th. So whatever the value you are getting here, 1 to 7, it will be taken. If you get 1, that is on Sunday, the output will be 1st. If it is on Monday, that is 2, it will be 2nd. Let me execute this and see what it returns. So today is 3rd day of the week, so it is returning 3rd. So you understood now how the choose will be used. The first parameter is the input parameter. So you are choosing the number. This is my lottery ticket. I am choosing number 4. So what is the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. I will get 4. So this is one example where we use the choose option. Okay. And now, generally I don't use choose function unless the requirement demands. I never got a requirement where I have to use the choose. And if you see the program flow, the next one, the switch. Switch is like a condition checking. Switch, this is OR, then Orient, comma, so and so, then Washington. If you observe this here, what it will do is it will getting the state. If it is OR, show this. If it is so and so, show this. Like condition checking. I'll show you an example with the dates. If date part of week, comma, today is equal to 0, then show it as Sunday, SUN. And similarly, how many I have to check? So the second one is equal to 1, then show Monday, right? If I add for 7 days, it will similar to the choose whatever I have written there. If it is 2, then stupid. So I think it is 2, it has to return stupid. What it will do is first it will evaluate this and whether it check it is correct or not. If it is correct, then it will return Sunday. Or if not, then it will come here. It will check whether it is 1 week of this today is 1, then it will return Monday. Else it will go to the third one. And it will be switching one by one. And it will find out, and it finds the, whenever it finds the match, it returns the value. I think it's not matching still. Is it third or something, whatever? So it's third, right? I'm starting from 0. That weekday starts from 1. 1 is Sunday, 2 is Monday, and 3 is Tuesday. So let me give 3. Now it should return stupid. Understood, right? How the switch works? Switch works like first it will be step by step. First it will take the first one. If it is not valid, go to the second one. If it is not valid, it goes to the third one. And if it is not valid, then it goes to the fourth one. So if you have any fixed one like this, 7 days will be there in a week. So you can give like this. 1, if it weekday is 1, then give some value. If you want to give some funny value like today is Sunday, man, please don't disturb. Okay. So whenever it is Sunday, it will return this text. In the same way, you can go for Monday. Oh God, Monday is back. Similarly, you can go for Tuesday. So you can set some custom testing, right? Custom test, whatever you wish to. Then you can set like using the switch, just like choose option. If the choose is similar to choose, but this is a better lengthy one and different option provided for the program flow. Clear? Okay guys, let's end the session here and we will discuss about the aggregate functions and financial. As I told you already, I'm not going to discuss. Why? Because I'm poor, very poor in finance part. And conversion functions and also miscellaneous functions we will discuss in the later sessions. Thank you very much and have a good day.